the Biden administration plans to use huge vacuum cleaners to suck carbon dioxide out of the air. Michael Snyder reports. The Biden administration plans to do what? Yes, that's correct. The headline is correct. Joe Biden and his administration are moving forward with the plan to use, quote, huge vacuum cleaners, end quote, to remove millions of metric tons of carbon dioxide from the air. I'd like to know how they can do that. If that sounds like a really stupid idea to you, that's because it is really a stupid idea. We are in the very early chapters of a horrific global food crisis, and crops need carbon dioxide to grow. If we were able to find a way to remove all carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, all plants would die and humanity would rapidly go extinct from starvation. So when we're messing around with carbon dioxide, we're literally messing around with the life-giving gas that makes life on this planet possible. But when it comes to messing things up, we should never underestimate Joe Biden's ability. Friday's administration announced that more than $1 billion will be spent on huge vacuum cleaners, quote unquote, in Louisiana and Texas that will be used to suck massive amounts of carbon dioxide out of the air. I'd like to know what scientists they have to be advising them to do this. The Biden administration Friday announced its first major investment to kickstart the U.S. carbon removal industry, something energy experts say is key to getting the country's planet-warming emissions under control. Direct air capture removal projects are akin to huge vacuum cleaners sucking carbon dioxide out of the air using chemicals to remove the greenhouse gas. Once removed, CO2 gets stored underground or is used in industrial materials like cement. On Friday, the U.S. Department of Energy announced it's spending $1.2 billion to fund 2 new demonstration projects in Texas and Louisiana, the South Texas Direct Air Capture Hub and Project Cypress in Louisiana. This is really going to happen. According to Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, these huge vacuum cleaners will be able to remove over 2 million metric tons of carbon dioxide from our atmosphere each year. Granholm said the projects are expected to remove more than 2 million metric tons of carbon dioxide from the air annually once they are up and running, the equivalent of removing nearly 500,000 gas cars off the road. Your tax dollars will be funding this project. Remember that the next time you look over the deductions to your paycheck. A project of this nature is already up and running in Iceland, but the huge vacuum cleaners that the Biden administration will be putting up will absolutely dwarf what Iceland has been doing. Another project in Iceland that opened in 2021 removes about 10 metric tons of CO2 every day, roughly the same amount of carbon emitted by 800 cars a day. At the time, the project's operator, Climeworks, said it was the largest one in the world. The U.S. direct air capture projects alone could increase global capacity for the technology by 400 times, said Sasha Stashwick, policy director at Carbon 180, an independent nonprofit focused on carbon removal. The industry is very nascent at the moment, Stashwick told CNN. These are meant to be the first commercial scale deployments at the megaton scale. It's a very, very big deal. Of course, this is not the only real stupid idea that global leaders have come up with to fight climate change. In Ireland, farmers are extremely distressed by reports that they may soon be forced to kill off 200,000 cows so that the government can meet climate targets. Irish farmers have been taking to the streets in recent weeks after reports surfaced of a government plan to cull 200,000 cows to meet climate targets. The controversial legislation to cut its emissions by 25% between the years 2018 and 2030 was slated last year, with farmers raising concern about potential culls. The Irish Cattle Breeding Federation last year told Beef Central it believed it could comply with the target through improved genetics. However, cull concerns were recently ramped up, with a local media outlet finding a government report that suggested culling 200,000 cows to meet the target. Why in the world would the Irish government even consider such a thing when we are in the middle of a major global food crisis? I simply do not understand. Elsewhere in Europe, the Dutch government is going to be buying up large numbers of farms and shutting them down in order to reduce nitrogen pollution. The European Commission on Tuesday said it had approved 2 Dutch plans worth a combined 1.47 billion euros, that's $1.61 billion, to buy out livestock farmers to reduce nitrogen pollution, saying they are permissible under state aid rules. The Dutch need to reduce excess nitrogen levels, caused in part by decades of intensive farming, a problem that has led to courts blocking important construction projects until the issue is resolved. Once again, I just don't get why anyone would think that this is a good idea when the UN says 2.4 billion people on the planet do not have enough food to eat. But these elitists don't listen to common sense. They're just going to do what they want to do, and the rest of us will be forced to live with the consequences. Unfortunately, some of these elitists appear to be willing to go to absolutely insane extremes in order to fight climate change. Several years ago, a WEF bioethicist named S. Matthew Lyle actually suggested genetically modifying humans so that they would become allergic to meat. Can you imagine this? This is one of those rare moments where we don't know if we should make jokes or fear for our lives. Prepare yourself. A viral video shows bioethicists suggest we re-engineer humans to become allergic to meat in order to control climate change. And the video of a panel at the 2016 World Science Festival has resurfaced, causing outrage from thousands on social media, as Matthew Lyle speaking about reducing humanity's footprint on the planet. There are people that actually sit around and think up stuff like this. More recently, an astronomer at the University of Hawaii made headlines when he proposed that we should capture an asteroid and use it as part of a contraption that would work as an umbrella between us and the sun. Scientists around the globe are working on myriad ways to reduce the effects of climate change, including Istvan Zapudi, an astronomer at the University of Hawaii Institute for Astronomy, who has devised a novel idea to lessen the amount of sunlight hitting our planet. In a paper titled Solar Radiation Management with a Tethered Sun Shield, recently published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, Zapudi proposed placing a sort of umbrella in a near gravitationally stable region of space between Earth and the Sun, along the Sun-Earth axis, combined with a captured asteroid as a counterweight that would shade the planet from a fraction of our star's rays. He was working on a spaceship propulsion idea and read a paper about solar sails, spurred him to look into sunshades. No thank you. When I look up into the sky, I want to see the sun. I don't want to see a giant umbrella blocking my view. Given enough time, these freaks would implement all sorts of crazy schemes. The good news is that time is running out for them. The global system that they're trying to build will ultimately crumble to the ground. That will inevitably lead to a period of great global chaos, but out of that chaos will come something else entirely. This is by Michael Snyder, and he says, "My name is Michael." About the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of the latest updates. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, the most important news, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, or financial or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. And this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.